just not that into you. Well, look, I did like this film. It started off really well. I was very impressed. There was that confusion as to, it wasn't confusion, it was just more, the couples, getting together and, well, I'll call you, and then this person calls the other person, and all that business. So that bit was really good, and I thought, this is really, really cool. It's going to show us a real interesting insight into what happens in the men's minds and women's minds, and in the dating thing, and the reality of what actually happens, which is that unless you're married and committed, there's all sorts of extra stuff going on. There's a transition period in between the getting together and the splitting up, where the person's seeing multiple people and considering the possibilities and what is an option and what isn't, and what should I move forward into and what's not going anywhere. And of course, as single people, we need to always assess these things. When am I wasting my time? What will result in getting together? What will not result in getting together? What is splitting up? Are we splitting up, or are we just going through a phase? And it could have explored that so much more, this film, but at its core, it is a chick flick, and I think that they couldn't help themselves. They had to put too many formulaic things in there, which sort of I started to recognize after a while, little pattern things you got to put in the film, and one of them was the wedding thing at the towards the end, and even I think there was another wedding earlier on. It was kind of like, oh, for God's sakes, enough with the weddings. And the other thing, of course, is the complete obliviousness, is that the word? Of men's pain, the focus on women's pain, women's disappointment. And as a guy, you sort of think, well, all right, fair enough, I feel, if it's going out with someone that I'm interested, but by totally ignoring the men, for example, and is a classic thing that all chick flicks do. They never show a terrific, great guy getting rejected by one of these fussy bitches who have been sleeping with the alpha male and have now deluded themselves into thinking that, hey, I'm alpha male material. I can grab myself an alpha male. Listen to the women listening to this right now. Here's some shocking news for you. Alpha males, we like to sleep with lots of women if we can, and we'll do it. And a lot of the times the last thing on our minds is marriage or relationship. We're just thinking, wow, awesome tits. God, she's pretty. Look at that face. Look at that ass. This is one of the ways that men think. And of course, in the past, we'd have to marry you in the 50s or whatever, before the pill came along. We'd have to marry you and make a commitment to look after children to do those things. But now, because of your women's liberation, we don't have to do that anymore. Now it's like, cool, you've got the pill, and we've got condoms, and yeah, I can have fun with this one and that one. And you know what? That little short, cute one over there, I've been thinking about her a lot. And I don't want to commit with the one I'm seeing, because I think I've got a chance with that little cute one that's been looking at me. She's looking, and I can just imagine doing all sorts of things. So, and unfortunately, the average chick who sleeps with one of these alpha males, let's say the girl has a one-night stand with the footballer and thinks, gee, wow, I'm football player material, and this is the league I'm in now. I'm so hot. Not realizing that, no, she's not. He just wanted to have sex, and she's good enough to have sex with, but not good enough to be in a relationship with. It's kind of like the male version of what women do, where they say, oh, he's good enough to have as a friend, but not good enough to marry. So, if the man says to her, oh, listen, I want to sleep with you, she'd be like, what do you mean? We're just friends. You got to be, what are you talking about? It's like, what the hell is he talking about? He must have the completely wrong idea. Well, a lot of alpha males are like that with girls who say to them, hey, I want a relationship with you. The guy's like, what the hell? What the hell is she talking about? We met, we're having sex, we're having fun. She's into me. What the hell? It's like, I have no idea what she's talking about. Men can distinguish very well. This is the one thing that's true, by the way, with this, he's just not that into you. Which is, men can very much distinguish between I love you and I just want to sleep with you. Women are so excited to be with the alpha male that they can't tell the difference. And also what else happens is the women who get with these alpha males, and let's face it, the men in this movie are not regular Joe Schmoes. They are very much alpha males, okay? The real estate agent guy, did he work for a real estate agency? No, he didn't. He ran it. His face was in the ad, remember? Plus, he was going to buy that fantastic house for that chick, so he's got a lot of cash. Cashed up dude. Secondly, the married dude, was he working in office? No, he was the boss. He had his own, I don't know what he did there, but he had his own secretary, and he had a desk, his own room, which you could lock the door. So he's up there, man. And who there was the yacht dude. Who else was there? The guy that, did he work at the bar? He did, but he ran the bar. He was the boss. And, so they go with these guys, and will he call, won't he? So the point I'm making is I don't really have a lot of empathy with these women, because basically what the film doesn't show is that they are rejecting a whole bunch of terrific guys. And I know these terrific guys, and you never see this in the chick flicks. In the chick flicks, you see the alpha male, who's the star, and the dickhead, the guy, that guy, Jennifer Aniston went to that wedding, and that guy was talking about that he's pagan or something. He was completely clueless and rude, and to the point of being an idiot. And I'll tell you now, that's not how we see it. The world has some terrific guys out there who just don't happen to be rich, don't happen to be tall, some don't happen to be that good looking. And I think a lot of these women need to take a good look at themselves and realize that they're not that hot. But on the other hand, look, let's face it, in this film, the men were hot as well. Apart from the real estate agent dude, the other guys were just, amazing. And that blonde chick, Scarlett Johansson, I think that's the name of the actress who played the stunning blonde woman. It's like, she must be rejecting guys left, right, and centre in reality. But in the film, all you see her with, she's alone, and all that you seem to notice is that guy. So I think women do filter out in their minds. There's the alpha male, and no one else exists. So the film doesn't show any of these women rejecting terrific guys. It just shows them getting rejected and disappointed, with the choices they've made. And I'm sorry, because I look around me, and obviously I'm a guy, so I've got the different point of view. But my understanding is pretty much the men are the ones getting rejected left, right, and centre. The men are the ones responding to all the ads. The men are the ones that are out there risking rejection every single time. They're the ones who have to make the move and ask the girl out to initiate the sexual stuff. And the women basically are picking and choosing which one they want. At least the good-looking ones are. And the ugly women, okay, it's tough for them, but they're just not getting approached. And there's another genre of ugly woman who does get approached, but is just wanted for sex, which is unfortunate. But hey, the ugly guy gets rejected and doesn't get approached at all. He's completely invisible. Anyway, I was a bit irritated by the happy ending. I didn't like this. Aniston tells the guy, I don't really want to marry you anymore. So I don't really want to marry if you just want to live together. And he says, yeah, can I come home now? Or something. And in the end, he does propose to her, and they do get married. It's kind of like, oh, yeah, all right, whatever. That had to be the ending. You can tell there was a Hollywood meeting, and they sat there and said, oh, we got to put a wedding at the end here. It's not really satisfying. So, yeah, it started off as potentially as an exploration into the psyche of men and women, but ended up being just a film about women's complaints about getting the alpha male and frustrations and confusing signals, when in fact, in reality, they're probably rejecting a whole bunch of terrific guys. That's really about it, all I got to say. The guy that ran the bar, I didn't like the final scene too, by the way, where, what's her name, she finally had a date with Bill, I think his name was, the guy she thought was fictional, and he seemed like such a nice guy, and it was the first date, and I thought to myself, I got confused because I thought, she must have moved on. So they sit there and they do this thing where, thank you, I had a really good night, and the vibe is really, really nice. And I thought to myself, oh wow, okay, this might be the end. The conclusion of the film might be that it works out with that guy. And she seemed to really she smiles at him, says, call me. She seems sincerely happy. And then there's the corny bit where there's a knock at the door after she says goodbye, and she goes back and she thinks it's him and it's the other guy. And then I thought, as he said he was loving her, I thought that she was going to say, but hold on, I've just met this guy. But then she forgets about the new guy. So it was really creepy for me as a guy, the idea that I could have a first date with a woman, and I'm thinking, wow, this is so special. But in her head, she only did it because she's upset about the other guy and is ready to jump into his bed as soon as possible. So anyway, the moral of the story for guys is you better get a good night kiss and seduce her physically, otherwise she's going to be bored and thinking about the last guy you fucked or whatever. Anyway, look, let's end it there. Yeah, good movie. Could have been better.